been a while since I've made a video. It's been quite the while. And we've gone back to our roots, baby. Listen, no makeup, wet hair, looking like a bomb in inconspicuous fucking location on the ground. You know what I mean? I haven't made a video in a while. I work a 9 to 5. I get tired, okay? I don't got time to think. But lately I've been thinking. And I've been thinking, you know how it goes. I've been thinking about something on a repeated basis, and it's this concept of, do I want to keep being loud? Do I want to keep making noise? That's also why I don't get any fucking privacy in this house, so I can't make videos. I can't talk to myself. Anyway, I want to talk about the concept of the problem solver, the Deus Ex Machina. Okay, but I don't mean it in a good way. I want to talk about the person who makes your problem and then pretends to be your savior from it. Be wary of this phenomenon, my friends, because there are many people in your life who will act this way. So, let me talk about one of the main stories that came up to me. This was years ago. I literally couldn't even tell you exactly where I heard this from. Probably some weird YouTube video somewhere along the line. But this, the moral of the story, I think you'll understand pretty quickly. It was an interview of a pimp. Okay. And he was explaining about, you know, he's a pimp. He has prostitutes. He manages them. For lack of a better word, he manages them. Okay, right. And there comes to a point where a lot of these women, these prostitutes, get tired of the work. They get, quote unquote, burned out. Okay. And what do when one of their women is burned out? Well, and I don't know if all of the pimps are like this, or Johns, or I don't know the technical terms for any of this. Do I fucking look like I do? No. Anyway, you get what I'm talking about. The guy. I don't know if this is all of their methods, okay, but this was his method of what he does to kind of revitalize this woman. What he would essentially do is he'd say, go ahead, leave. Go ahead, leave. And then he, behind her back, would basically set up an operation. He'd hire some dudes to go beat the fuck out of her, to go attack her. And then what would he do? He'd show up. Deus Ex Machina. He'd show up. Her savior from these men. And she would feel this renewed source of gratitude and devotion and loyalty to him for being the man who, right, saves her and protects her from this cruel world, even though he's the one exploiting her. And she never finds out, right, that he's the one who hired these guys. He makes the problem and then solves it and pretends to be her savior. How many times do we experience this in our daily lives, in a societal scale? How many times do we experience the very people who want to exploit us, right? Be the cause of our problems behind our fucking backs and then pretend to be our little saviors and solve them. Let's think really, really hard about how many times we've seen something like this. Right? How manipulative is it to think, right? How many times you've seen in your personal life someone who caused a fucking problem and then wants a reward for fucking solving it? No. If you cause a problem, you own up to that problem and then you repair it. Point blank period, because it's your duty, your obligation, responsibility to do it. However, to claim that you're some sort of savior, right, that adds another level of deception and manipulation on top of it. And I think those of you who are familiar with certain narcissistic or just really egotistical and selfish pricks of people, you probably have met who act exactly like this. They cause the fucking problem and then they save the day. They save the day, even though they're the ones who literally were the problem. I think about this example from high school, and it's not directly correlated. It's just how I personally react to this kind of behavior because I see it. I see it often and I don't like it. Okay? I don't like rewarding people, giving them a cookie, right, for doing the right thing after they've done a wrong thing. So, for example, in high school once, I remember I was in the cafeteria. I had just bought my lunch. And I had my little wallet, coin, purse, whatever the fuck, on my little food tray, okay, with my shitty little public school meal. It was a good school, don't get me wrong. It was a good school. The meal was fine. Like, it was probably just like mashed potatoes and chicken or something, which is more than most people can ask for. But, funny times. I remember there was this one kid who sat at my lunchroom table, and we were friends. We were fine, whatever. He's goofing around. He grabs my wallet. And this is not funny. Give that back. And he goes, "Bro, say please. Say please. I'll give it to you back if you say please." You want a fucking cookie? You want a fucking please for doing the wrong thing? I said, no, it wasn't yours to take to begin with. Give it back. I'm not begging and pleading you to fix something that you know. You don't get to wrong me and then I have to beg for you to fucking fix it. No, fuck you. And as soon as I said it wasn't yours to take, give it back now, he was like, oh, you're right. And I don't know, something you could tell in that moment, and I often have these, like, interactions with men, is like, a light bulb goes off in their head and they're like, oh, right. That's not how you're supposed to behave. Oh, right. You guys are so exhausting. Anyway. So it's not the same as what I'm talking about, but it's similar, right? In that you don't get to act bad and then pretend like you're such a good guy for fixing the badness. Fuck you. Okay? It's your job, all right, on an individual basis. If you cause a problem, you own up to it, and then you solve it. But the trick about what I'm talking about here, specifically in the case of the prostitution case, is that they don't own up to the fact that they caused the problem, right? So this is where the real manipulation and exploitation happens, is when someone causes a problem secretly, deceptively. You don't even realize that they were the one who fucking caused it. And then they swoop in and save the day, and now they really do look like a hero. They appear like a true, genuine hero. Be wary of that. Be very, very wary of people who are trying to solve your problem. Especially if they have something to gain from your problem or from solving your problem, right? That pimp had every fucking incentive to keep doing what he was doing. He had every incentive to quote-unquote save her. He had every incentive to keep her in the business and keep making money on exploiting her. The incentive is there. Okay. So think about this on your personal level. Think about this with your job. Maybe you need to apply this to your job. Think about it that way. In which case, right, in which cases is your place of employment exploiting you, causing your problem, and then whoosh, saving the day, like, oh my god, look guys, we fixed this. Yeah, you fixed it, but you were the problem. Think about it. Think about it really hard. Now let's think about it even bigger societally. It's a few days after the inauguration now, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch it. Say what you want about me, I don't care. I've uninstalled TikTok, I've uninstalled Twitter. I don't really fuck with most of you fuckers anymore anyway, so that's fine. That's why I haven't been posting videos. I don't want to interact with I don't want to interact with people. Okay. So let's talk about the TikTok ban while we're at it. Trump was the one who started that shit, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. I can't say that I was all that tapped into it and that I knew everything that was going on, all the updates, but I'm pretty sure he's the fucker that started it. And the next thing I know, we thank you so much for Donald Trump, for the President Trump, for getting our app back. He was the one who wanted it gone to begin with. And now he's the savior for bringing it back. Oh, interesting. Interesting how that works. Okay. And now I can't say that I watched the court. I saw a couple clips of the court proceedings, and wow, are our senators so fucking stupid. But that's beyond the point. I'm glad I didn't watch it. That's like fucking idiocy that I cannot tolerate to watch for longer than a couple minutes at a time. Anyway, I don't care. Like I said, I don't even care about the app. I'm literally never going to use it again. It's whatever. I don't care. I'm not even going to have an opinion on it, whether I wanted it or not. It was fun while it lasted, but I actually uninstalled it months ago. So, anyway. Let's talk about something else. Bigger picture. Okay. The fact that I already talked about Trump is already going to get me in the shitter. I'm going to get enough hate about it. So why don't I just dig myself deeper into a hole? Let's talk about, and it kind of goes with the TikTok ban thing, this hatred of China, right? And this is not specifically about Trump. This is about corporate elites who I think Trump is one of them, and he is besties with all of them. Clear as day. Okay. The problem was the Chinese are taking our jobs, right? The immigrants are taking our jobs. So then Trump comes in with the solution of, I'm gonna punish China, and I'm gonna punish the immigrants and kick them out. Okay. Let's talk about China, though, in this setting. I'm just gonna stick to that. The whole discussion of immigration is an entirely different topic and rabbit hole that I could go into but won't at this moment. You know, the reason why we as Americans collectively lost so many jobs to the Chinese? Corporate greed. That's why. Corporate greed did that. The CEO fucking billionaire besties and Donald Trump himself, they're the ones who decided to outsource all of their labor to China. They're the ones who did that. For decades and decades and decades now, Americans have been, quote unquote, losing jobs to China. Who made those decisions? Oh, right, the Elon Musks of the world. They made those decisions. They made that problem. You and I and Joe Schmo down the fucking street, none of us decided that these companies were going to go start fucking manufacturing in China instead. Elon Musk himself manufactures Teslas in Shanghai. We have Detroit that used to be a fucking booming auto industry, and Elon Musk manufactures some of his Teslas. He does have some American factories. I'll give him credit for that. But he still has a whole fucking manufacturing factory in Shanghai. They're the ones who caused the fucking problem, and now they swoop in. We're gonna be so hard on China now. We're gonna be so hard on China. We're gonna put tariffs on China. We promise we're gonna solve this problem. You guys caused the fucking problem. You guys caused the fucking problem because you wanted cheap-ass labor that also created cheap quality of goods, but I don't even need to go into the fucking discussion of overconsumption that they also caused with their marketing. Okay. So every time we pay for all of these goods, let me read, where was this made? Where was this fucking made? Where was this fucking made? Well, like, where were these fucking made? Where were these made? Fabriqué en Chine. Fabriqué en Chine. Yes. Okay. I don't have anything against the Chinese people working and making money. I don't have anything against that. But do I actually get a little bit happy when I see something made in America, made in the USA? Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of do like that. I kind of do like seeing that. Because generally, then I know that that was made with fair labor and probably better quality materials, if we're being honest. Even Trump, I'm pretty sure he made his own version of the fucking, let me not use that word, okay. He made his own version of the Holy Bible. Okay. I stopped myself before I was mean, you see. Produced in China, I'm pretty sure. And even those watches that he was selling right before the campaign, the crazy, ridiculous, I'm pretty sure those were made in China too. These are the people who are taking jobs away from Americans and giving them to overseas. And now he wants to put tariffs on China, as if tariffs work. Like, tariffs don't work like that. American consumers pay tariffs. So now we're paying more to get products that were made in China when we could just be paying more to get them made in the USA. How do you see? And then every time we pay, right, because we're paying for the cheaper labor, and we're paying now, even though we're paying less, we're still buying more. And every single time that you buy some shit made in China, you are directly funding the pockets of these billionaires, and you are directly funding the Chinese economy that is now absolutely booming, growing, and is going to, it has been growing. It's the strongest growing economy in the world. There is no doubt about that. Oh, I wonder fucking why. Right, on the backs of like, well, the entire world's consumers, but also especially American consumers' backs. China has all these countries, debt on debt, racks on racks on racks, debt on debt that they are collecting from these countries, including the United States. And Donald Trump wants to come and be like, I'm gonna stop all of this. I'm gonna put an end to all of this. No, you're fucking not, because you're also been he personally have been profiting off of you, and China are not far apart. You both have all been profiting. But now he's the savior, holy savior or overlord. Hi hail. Yeah, you want to talk about saving American industries? Okay, Elon Musk, take your fucking factories out of Shanghai then, and let's see how that goes. I'm sure he could afford to. I'm absolutely sure he could afford to. So why doesn't he? I don't know. That's not my business. I don't make his fucking business deals. I don't care. I'm not buying a Tesla anytime soon. I don't plan to. I don't have the money to. I'm broke, but I also, if I did have the money, I think there's nicer cars that I would. So let's just think about this. Let's think about the ways in which so many of our world leaders cause our problems behind our backs and then pretend to be the saviors of them. Crazy work, isn't it? Really, really crazy work, isn't it? And if you don't want to think about the world leaders doing that, that's fine. You can just think about in your personal relationships or your personal job, your everyday job. We have people constantly creating problems for us by exploiting us and then pretending that they are saving us from something to gain our loyalty, to manipulate us, to make idiots out of us. For real. And we're letting them. We're absolutely letting them. So that's all for now. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna get fucking ripped on in the comments as usual.